Good morning, 8th grade. This is Mrs. Hollenbeck with Lesson 20, your last vocab lesson, and I'm on page 79. Also, this is a context lesson, and so the context is on page 197 to 203. Okay? So, on page 79, our first word is arbitrary. It is an adjective, and arbitrary means that it's kind of random, based on a person's opinion, not facts or rules or regulations. So if a decision is arbitrary, it means that it's just based on the person's whim, their opinion, no rules or regulations. Okay? So if I were going to give you an arbitrary grade, it would be just what I thought, not based on how many you missed or how many you got right. Okay? That would be arbitrary. Okay? That's not how it works. Okay? Browbeat is a verb. Browbeat is to bully someone. And you can kind of understand that word just because of the sound of that word. You beat on somebody's brow, you're forcing them to do what you want them to do, all right, by bullying them. Bureaucracy is kind of a collective noun. It is, we talked about it in the last lesson, where all these departments make up the government. Okay, that's the bureaucracy. All the departments make up the bureaucracy. Well, it can refer to those departments, but it can also refer to all the steps that, if you make a proposal, that a proposal will have to go through before being enacted, all right, or becoming a guiding factor. Now that's on the government level. The school level has bureaucracy as well. Before things can be changed, they have to go through the different steps, the bureaucracy, okay, the appropriate steps. Okay. The next word is contraband. Contraband is a noun. You smuggle in a piece of candy into the classroom. The candy is contraband. It's not supposed to be in there. That's on a lighter note. On a serious note, drugs would obviously be contraband. Turned on HBO and that movie Contraband happened to be on. Watched it for 3 seconds. I must have heard the granddaddy of cuss words, 5 different times in 3 seconds. So it's like, no, not watching this one. The next word, inane. Inane is an adjective, and inane means pointless. A lot of times there are inane arguments within a family or within classmates or among classmates. It's arguments or discussions that really have no point to them. They don't change anything, they don't affect anything, and so they're really kind of pointless. My kids would have the most petty arguments, inane arguments, but they just enjoyed arguing, not so much really wanting to affect a change or anything. They just like to argue. And those were inane arguments. My sister and I would do that all the time. The sixth word is politic. Politic is an adjective. It is not the same as political. And a person can be politic or make a politic move without being a politician. All right. Politic means manipulating or working something out for your own best interest. All right. So situating yourself so that for your best interest, so you could benefit the most. You manipulate yourself, befriending the right people, looking to situate yourself in the right way so that you can benefit, you can reap the most benefit. That's a politic move. Okay. Scroop, before the conspiracy, he was politic. You know, he'd be in the right place at the right time so he could benefit from Prince Hal and later on King Henry. Okay. Premeditated, that is an adjective, and it's a participle because it functions as an adjective, but it looks like a verb. Premeditated, pre means before, meditated means thought through, planned. So if a crime is premeditated, it was planned beforehand. Before it was enacted, it wasn't, you know, a spontaneous spur the temporary insanity. It wasn't spur the moment. Thought was put into it prior to the crime being committed. So therefore, those sort of crimes receive harsher punishments. Okay. Proxy. A proxy can be a person noun, or it can just be a noun. All right. Proxy, a person noun, is a legal substitute. So, Mrs. Hishke closed on a new home last week or the week before. I said, "What are you doing here? Aren't you closing today?" Well, her husband is her legal proxy. So, he was her legal substitute, so he could sign on her behalf. All right? So it's any legal substitute there, okay? Or a proxy could be the right to sign for someone else, okay? A scapegoat is a person noun, and we had that word as a word master word. We've had that word in numerous bits of literature. Scapegoat is a person noun, and it's the person who gets the blame. Now, this word has biblical roots. In the Old Testament, the people would put sins on this goat, and they'd send it off into the wilderness. Okay, that was symbolic of the ultimate scapegoat, Christ, who would take all the blame, guilt, and shame, all the sins of the world on the cross and be sacrificed. So the scapegoat is the person who takes the blame. Okay. Transient is our last word. Transient is a person noun or an adjective. If it's an adjective, it just means temporary. Okay, having no roots, having no, not lasting long. Transient, our lives are transient. Okay, we're a vapor. That's how Scripture describes our lives here on earth. Okay, a transient, a person is a homeless person, or a person who doesn't have a home in one location, just moves around a lot. Okay, has temporary homes. All right, could be a person traveling is a transient, just moving from place to place, you know, living out of a backpack. That could be a transient. Okay. Those are your 10 words. The context begins on 197, and on the first page there is a simile, so watch for that. Okay, there is a simile. All the others are, the majority of them are defined after the word itself, and they're not necessarily right by them. Like in the 7th grade lesson, man, they're all like synonyms right behind them, pretty much. But in this lesson for 8th grade, it is, they're synonyms primarily but they come a little bit further on in a sentence down or further on in the sentence, the synonym. All right, there is that one simile. All right, and I think I recall seeing an example. All right, so watch for those. Okay, that is lesson 20. I want to introduce you to my Mother's Day gift. Hey, they were sitting with me, but then I put them over in the living room. They're off playing in the living room. I got 2 kittens for Mother's Day, Winifred and Winston. They're really cute, but let me see if I can grab them really fast. All right. Okay, sorry. Here's Winston and Winifred. This is Winston, this is Winifred. Oh, and now they're going to run away. Okay, anyway. And we're messing around. Hey, baby. Yeah, what you thinking? So, anyway, we'll see ya later this week.